You know, some operatives, they're made in the hollowed halls of intelligence agencies. Others, they're forged in fire. Today, we're getting into the origin story of a true legend in the shadows, a man who literally built himself for a world that didn't even want him, Julian Cross. This quote, man, it just nails the world Julian Cross was born into. This isn't a world of glory or medals. No, this is a gritty, underground landscape where just surviving is the only victory that matters. And for Julian, learning to move in the dark started way before he ever put on a uniform. So, Julian's first lessons in survival and intelligence, they weren't taught in some fancy classroom or a boot camp. Nope, they were learned on the cracked sidewalks of his own neighborhood, a place that shaped him into a ghost before he even knew what to call it. He was born in Houston's Fifth Ward, and he learned really early on that survival was all about what you see and what you let other people see. That neighborhood was a total pressure cooker. It taught him how to read a room, how to tail someone without being spotted, and maybe most importantly, how to just blend in, to disappear in plain sight. So, who were his teachers? Well, forget about professors. Julian's real education came from the people on the block. The hustlers, the old-timers, even the crooked cops. You had Big Marcus, a local hustler, who taught him that information is currency. Mr. Griffin, a retired polling porter, showed him the power of patience and asking the right question. And Officer Delaney, well, he taught Julian a very direct lesson in how to fight back. Just take the lesson he learned from this corrupt cop who tried to shake him down. Julian didn't just stand his ground. He flipped the whole situation around, using misdirection and pure audacity to shut down the threat. And look, these weren't just some kids' pranks. This was fieldcraft, learned on the fly, under pressure. Okay, so the streets gave him the raw talent, but it was the U.S. Army that gave him the discipline and the technical skills to forge that talent into a weapon. This is where the ghost from the Fifth Ward starts his real transformation into a professional soldier and an intelligence operative. His entire military career basically became a masterclass in intelligence. First up, Fort Dix. Basic training broke him down and rebuilt him with hardcore discipline. Then, he's off to Cold War Berlin, where he masters counter-surveillance and the art of human intelligence. From there, it's Fort Meade, where he dives deep into the tech world of signals intelligence. And finally, Fort Hood, where he had to fuse it all together in these incredibly high-stakes joint ops. So the first skill he really honed was human intelligence. What is it? Just think of it as the art of reading people. It's exactly what Big Marcus taught him back in the Fifth Ward, only now, it came with a government security clearance. It's about spotting the lie in someone's eyes before they even say a word, turning a simple conversation into critical intel. And then you've got the other side of that coin, SIG-INT. This is the science of listening. If HUMINT is all about people, SIG-INT is about the technology. It's intercepting communications, breaking codes, and hearing those whispers the enemy thinks are totally secret. Julian mastered both, which made him a serious dual threat. But after years of dedicated service, a soldier's loyalty to the mission came crashing headfirst into the cold, hard reality of agency bureaucracy. This wasn't a battle fought with bullets. This was a war of egos, of budgets and politics, and it was a war Julian was just not willing to fight. I mean, he found himself stuck between two completely different worlds. In the Army, the motto was simple, mission first. But in the agency, it was politics first. Suddenly, the goal wasn't getting the job done, it was about who got the credit. Truth became, well, negotiable. And loyalty? It was to career paths, not the people on your team. And that right there, that was his breaking point. He saw that the exact same kind of ego that would get your team killed out in the field was what got you promoted behind a desk. He realized the system wasn't just flawed, it was fundamentally working against the mission itself. So what happens when you push back against a system like that? Well, it pushes back, hard. A burn notice is the ultimate act of betrayal. You're not just fired, you're erased. Your own government says you don't exist, all your contacts are cut, and you are left completely, utterly alone in the cold. It's basically a death sentence delivered on a piece of paper. But here's the thing about Julian Cross. Being burned, being cast out like that, it didn't destroy him. No way. It freed him. This is the moment the soldier dies and a whole new kind of operative is born. One who answered to nobody but the mission itself.
To operate in this new world, he had to have a new identity, a persona that could move through the darkest corners of the globe without a flag, without a country. He needed to become a ghost again, only this time on an international scale.
And the name? It actually came from an old army buddy, an ex-SIGINT tech. It started off as a joke, right? A nod to his insane ability to decode not just signals, but whole situations and people. But the name? It stuck. It became more than just a call sign. It became his armor.
And just like that, he was reborn. Black Cipher, a name whispered in the shadows, a freelance operator bound only by his own code, totally untethered from the systems that betrayed him. A true ghost in the machine.
So, how does a man with no leash operate? You might think it's chaos, but it's the total opposite. He operates with a new, even stricter set of rules, bringing that military discipline to the freelance world with this incredibly precise, methodical approach to every single contract. He's got this process, right? He calls it the ghost contract, and it is all about precision. First, the contract comes in, always encrypted. Second, he verifies everything himself. Trust is a liability he just can't afford anymore. Third, he executes the mission, using that full spectrum of skills with surgical precision. And finally, step 4, he vanishes. He leaves nothing behind but the result. And that really brings us to the biggest question of all, doesn't it? Julian Cross escaped one system only to build another one, just for himself. But in a world run by surveillance, by bureaucracy, by endless networks, can one man, even a ghost like Black Cipher, really operate outside of it all? Can he truly stay free? Well, that's the story he's still writing.